We have breaking news from Mongolia. Many artifacts have been discovered that will add to our knowledge about the Mongols. Let's travel back in time with Jeremy so he can interview people from the Mongol Empire and give all the viewers first-hand information on the Mongols. Jeremy?
Thanks, Julia. I'm here with Stella, a peasant, and Maria, a government official's wife. So Stella, tell me about your daily life.
Well, as a woman, I am always kept busy whether I'm making clothes, milking the animals, driving the carts, or setting up the yurt.
Could you explain what a yurt is, please?
A yurt is a tent where I live. The master bed is always in the north, and the entrance always faces south. The yurts are always circular and are quite portable. They always have horns that are used as hooks to store meats, utensils, bows, and quivers.
What rights do you have as a woman?
I have a say in family decisions, and I have rights close to men's rights.
Could you explain what you are wearing today and what you wear on a daily basis?
Men and women always wear silk trousers. Women's clothing has more pleats and tucks than men's, and women in the higher class wear headdresses decorated with feathers.
Could you explain some of your culture to us, please?
Well, a common specialist among Mongols is a shaman. It is believed that he is able to communicate with the gods. The high god is heaven, although we believe in many gods.
Interesting. So you guys are kind of nomads. Could you explain life in the clans?
Well, everyone in each clan is related on the male side. Defending against attacks is a big part of life because men are often taken away to be used as slaves in other clans.
Makes sense. Can you explain the life of a child in this time?
Children from a young age learn to shoot a compact bow and ride horses. Many teenagers fight in wars and battles.
Wow, that's amazing. Today's teenagers just sit on the couch and watch TV. Now, can you tell our viewers about the daily life of men?
Men worked very hard as well. They make carts, wagons, and frames for the yurts, in addition to making harnesses, saddles, and equipment needed for hunting and war.
You had a hard life. So, you said hunting. Could you please explain what your diet consists of?
We eat mostly wild game that is skinned and cut and cooked. Our common meal is mutton with wild game.
Even though you're in the desert, it gets pretty cold in the winter. What do you do to stay warm? Because you certainly don't have North Face jackets.
Well, we wear furs to protect ourselves, and since we don't have much wood, we burn animal dung or grasses for fire.
Can you please tell me, and all our viewers, what you and your family do in your free time?
We have limited free time, but during free time we do arts and pottery.
Finally, since no empire has everything it needs to survive, what materials do you most commonly trade for?
We live in the desert, so we have limited amounts of grains and vegetables, and so as a result we trade for grains and vegetables.
Thank you for the time you have spent with me today. I will now ask Maria some questions. So Maria, you're a wife of a government official, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So you know a lot about politics, right?
I guess so.
So I'm going to ask you some questions so we can get a nice background about politics, right?
Okay.
Alright, so can you please explain how Genghis Khan got power?
Well, he got power because of ecological reasons. He then subdued many tribes and built an army out of them. He was a merciless ruler.
So here's something huge happened involving Genghis Khan in 1206. What occurred?
In 1206, Genghis Khan was named the Great Khan, or the Emperor of the Yuan.
Can you share some important dates in the Yuan's history?
Between 1212 to 1213, we destroyed 90 cities in China. In 1226, Genghis Khan died. In 1237, we went into Europe and conquered land. In 1258, we conquered Korea, and in 1276, we conquered China. Genghis Khan also declared Mongolian was to become the written language.
So after Genghis Khan died, who became the Great Khan?
His third son, Agodai, became the Great Khan.
So you conquered a lot of land. Can you explain the Mongolian fighting techniques?
Although we have a small population, we have great fighting techniques. We are not afraid to change our fighting techniques and incorporate other ethnic groups into our armies and governments.
Could you please explain the thinking process of the government when they decide to attack another empire?
Well, us Mongols attack to gain riches or to protect ourselves and our way of life.
I've heard a lot about tax farming. Could you explain what tax farming is to me, please?
Tax farming is when we let Central Asian Muslim merchants bid against each other for licenses to collect taxes any way they can. This way the government can make more money and we do not have to get as much involved.
Ingenious. Now, your rule over China was interesting. Could you please share some parts with us?
Absolutely. We treated the Chinese as inferior people, subjugating them. We resisted assimilation in China as well. We ran China mostly through Chinese officials that we put into place when we arrived.
Do you have any more interesting facts to share before I go?
Yes, a couple actually. First, we have encouraged movement across Eurasia more than anyone before us. Mongols in Central Asia have tended to merge with Turkish nomads and convert to Islam. And finally, our most famous European visitor has been Marco Polo.
Well, I learned a lot today, and I hope all the viewers did too. Thank you to Stella and Maria for spending time with me today and learning all about your awesome empire.
Thank you, Jeremy, for that wonderful part. Now that you know background information on the Mongols, I will now interview Mikhail Petrovsky, director of the State Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg, Russia, and Mongol enthusiast. So Mikhail, tell me, what artifacts will your museum be getting as a result of the recent find?
Well, the real prize of the finding will be a stone called the Genghis Khan stone. It is said after the conquest of the Sartal people that Genghis Khan gathered all the people and had one of his men shoot a bow from a distance of 335 sazens, or roughly 2,345 feet.
So he won the stone. Did it become important?
Yes, it appears he won the stone, but we are not sure if it was important to him. My assumption would be that it was very important to him as a person, though.
About how many artifacts has the crew found?
About 45. We have some pictures that I will show later.
Where are most of the artifacts found?
Well, a lot of these artifacts have been found in southern or western Mongolia. Some have also been found in China and Korea, where Mongols once ruled.
What can we learn from these artifacts?
We found lots of belt bowls, so we can hypothesize that they had to store things and carry things, like water, over long distances, which makes sense because they lived in the deserts and they were nomads, so they moved very often. Also, because they were belt bowls, it was pretty ingenious. They went down the waist and made it very easy to transport things.
Can you tell when these artifacts were made by the Mongol people? If so, how?
Yes, we can. Thanks to new technology, we can tell by doing a number of tests, including infrared lasers and chemical testing. Almost all the artifacts found were made around the 12th century, at the height of the Mongol Empire.
What metal were most of these bowls made from?
Mostly gold and silver, which is expected because today's Mongolia has lots of these precious metals. It was also very commonly traded for during the 12th century.
Are there art on the bowls, or is it just plain?
The bowls are decorated with dragons for the most part. This is most likely because dragons represent power, and it is believed that they brought good luck.
Now that you have found so many artifacts, what will you be looking for next?
We will now be looking for the tomb of the greatest Mongolian ruler, Genghis Khan. We imagine it will be huge and magnificent, much like the Emperor of China's, Xin.
Do you know anything about Genghis Khan?
We know a decent amount. We know that although merciless, he helped the Mongol Empire expand greatly, expanding from the Caspian Sea to the Pacific. He is quite reminiscent of the Chinese Emperor Xin.
Are there any ideas about how he died?
Based on the art, we can tell that Mongols rode on horses and fought often. From this we can infer that Genghis Khan died in battle, or fell off his horse and got trampled. Of course, there is always a chance that he became ill and died.
Can you please explain the Mongols in terms of government and culture? The two people Jeremy interviewed did not go into depth in either topic.
Well, the Mongols' government was an elective monarchy, meaning literally a monarchy ruled by someone who was elected rather than hereditary monarch, such as Britain's. Today's Denmark government is set up in much the same way. Because the Mongols were illiterate, they did not have much of a culture, although they did believe in many gods, the most powerful of which was called heaven.
That is great stuff. I learned a lot today, as did Jeremy, and I hope all the viewers out there did as well. Please enjoy the pictures of the artifacts, and remember, you can see more just like these at the State Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg, Russia. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, wait, before you go, this just in. Let's go live to the archaeologists with the artifacts. Okay. I'm here with an archaeologist in southern Mongolia. Let's see what he has found.
Ooh. It's very, very hard to tell, but if you look very closely, you could see that it is a ball. It is silver. We'll clean it up back at the lab, and I'm sure the rest of the world will get a chance to see it.
What time period do you think this is from?
My guess would be the 12th century, height of the Mongols. But it's very hard to see it right now, so it would be hard to guess. I'm sure that Julia has some pictures that we'll send Julia some pictures, and she'll get them on the air, I'm sure.
Okay, back to Julia.
Our photographers have captured everything that was found today. Here is the artifact that you saw today covered in mud. And here are some more pictures.